Hi, welcome to Ask Me About Dyslexia. My name is Pam Spock and I'm a dyslexia specialist. One of the things that I want to try to help my students with better is helping them to take responsibility for their accommodations, to learn to advocate for themselves. And I have found a way that I think is really going to help them, and I'm going to tell you all about it, so stay tuned. Most people are familiar with IEPs, or Individualized Education Plans, and 504 plans, which are basically accommodation plans. It's a list of accommodations or modifications that a student who has learning differences needs in order to succeed with the rest of the students. For purposes of our discussion today, we're just going to call it an accommodation plan. Well, these plans are written in adult language and generally discussed among adults. And sometimes students are not even aware of what accommodations they have or even what the word accommodation means. Well, as they get older, they need to learn to start advocating for themselves. And so in order to do that, they need to know what accommodations they have and why they need them. And they really need to start taking ownership of those accommodations and to understand why they need them. It is also good for teachers to understand exactly why a particular student needs a particular accommodation and for the teacher to know that the student knows. So what I'm doing with my students is I am taking their accommodations list and I am talking to them about their accommodations, and we're doing this right now at the end of the school year so that we are completely ready to roll going into the beginning of next school year. And I'll talk about how we'll do that at the end of this video, and then I hope to do an update of how it went come August. So the way I'm doing this is that I'm sitting there with my laptop and a list of the accommodations that the student has had this past year, and we talk about each accommodation. And then we talk about why that student needs that accommodation, how that's helpful to them. Do they still need that accommodation? Are there any accommodations that they can think of that we could ask for that they don't currently have? So for each accommodation, let's say, for example, that the accommodation is to get missed test questions read back to them. The student takes the test with the rest of the class, and then any questions that they miss, the teacher reads those questions back to the student. This is to find out if the student misread the question or if they just didn't know the answer. Oftentimes, dyslexic students are unable to read the question or misread it, and so they don't understand it, they get it wrong. So I talk about that with the student, and the student has to finish this sentence prompt that I give them. I need this because, and then they tell me in their own words why they need this accommodation. I need this because I don't read well. Or I need this because I mix up words. Or I need this because I understand things better when I hear them. Whatever the student says is their reason for needing this accommodation, I type that in. We move on to the next one. Maybe the student has the accommodation of getting extra time for tests. And I prompt them. I need this because, and they tell me, I'm a slow reader. I need more time to read. I have a hard time figuring out words. I get nervous during tests and feel like if I don't know an answer, I have to just guess and move on. Whatever the reason that they have given, I put that down. This has been so beautiful. to really just sit with my students and help them to understand what their accommodations are and why they need them and exactly where their struggles are. It has been really interesting to see a pattern of how the dyslexia affects that particular student. Some of them, speed is everything. Every reason they gave had to do with the fact that they are a slow worker. Another student, the issue might be more spelling. Another student, the issue might be anxiety. So this has been just wonderful, getting to just sit and talk with my students. And I only do this with the ones who are going into 7th grade and up. The younger ones might be able to handle it, but this is my first year trying it, and so I'm going to see how it works with the older ones. And I think it's going to be great, because what I'm going to do is this is going to be all ready to go for next year. And so next year, instead of trying to gather 5, 6, 7 teachers together on a team, because that's how it is in junior high and high school, trying to get that many teachers together for a meeting is really hard. What we're going to do is the student and I will go together with the accommodations plan in the student's language, take it to each individual teacher after school one day, and we're going to talk to the teachers. These are the accommodations that I need, and this is why I need them. The teacher will be able to make that connection with the student. The teacher will know what the student needs and why the student needs it. The student will know what he or she is supposed to have. And so if that doesn't happen, the student will know that they can go to the teacher and talk to them about their accommodations. On the bottom of that accommodations plan is my contact information. So because I'm going with the student, the teacher is able to make the connection that I am involved in this process as well. And if they have any questions, then they can contact me, and here's how they can do it. And this also helps the student to take ownership of their accommodations, to learn to advocate for themselves. And this is going to be a skill that they are going to need lifelong. And so I'm really excited about empowering the student in this way, to be able to go to a teacher and respectfully ask for what they need and should have in order to succeed. And it's also going to show the teacher that the student is taking this initiative, that they want to learn, that they want to do well, that they just need this little bit of extra help, and that can make all the difference for them. So this has been so far a wonderful experience in working with the students to come up with these plans and seeing them light up with understanding of what exactly is going on with these accommodations. And I'm excited about going to the teachers in the fall and taking what we have created and sharing it with them. And we're all partnering together to help the student to succeed. So I'll let you know how that goes in the fall, hopefully. If you are someone who works with students to help them with their accommodations, maybe this is something that you could try with your students. So if you have any questions about that process, then leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will click that subscribe button so that you won't miss upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.